Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB on FlossTube, but also on Instagram as well. This is my channel all about cross stitch. Welcome along. This is the Sunday morning briefing. It's Sunday the 7th of December. No, it's not, it's February. Why am I obsessed with it being December? Why do I want to go back to December? It's the 7th of February. Now I can't even say that I got it wrong last week because I didn't write it down. I did, I wrote it down, but I wrote it down wrong. So it's definitely the 7th of February. I'm back in Wales, back in my house in Wales. Thank you to all those people who commented about Mum. She's fine. She just really got to the point of having enough of lockdown, and she'd also been dealing by herself really with my uncle, who has started with dementia, and he lives on his own as well. So she'd been doing a lot with him and trying to get the relevant doctors and authorities involved and worrying about him. So she'd really just got to the end of her tether. So nothing serious, everybody seems to be back on track now, and it was really lovely to see her. So this is my Stitchy spot. I have filmed from here before, and I was just going to show you what my Stitchy spot is like. It's the simplest of simples, and that's pretty much me and how I stitch really. This is the sofa. This is the bendy light. Yes, Albus, this is the bendy light that I got from Ikea. That's it. I rest my pattern on the arm of the chair. I always sit with one of my legs tucked up underneath me, so I don't sit straight in the chair. I sit with one of my legs tucked underneath me. I stitch in hand using the sewing method, and I stitch quite up close to my face as well. Albus, stop doing that, just go to sleep. And so it's that's exactly how it is. And that's it. So what is this funny thing? Just tuck it in. There we go. It's all right. I've got everything set out in front of me. What you can't see is that I've got the ironing board in front of me with my camera on it. And so everything is on the ironing board. I have got loads and loads to show you today. So first of all, and I have made some notes because I had so many comments that I wanted to talk about that I had to go back through the comments. First thing, I just wanted to say I got to 6,000 subscribers this morning, so that was fantastic. I wasn't sure whether it would be before this video or just after this video. It was pretty close. So yeah, 6,000 this morning, so this is actually Saturday for me. So for next week I shall be sorting out some giveaways for my 6,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd get here, never in a million. Albus, you don't need to clean that right now. You do not need to clean that right now. So yeah, I'll organise something for that next week. As I said, I got back from Mum's, all was fine, the journey was fine. I even swung past Ikea in Cardiff and picked up a click and collect order. Ikea in Cardiff is literally, if it's 2 miles off the motorway, then is all it is. And it was super simple, swung past, rung them to let them know I was there. They told me then which bay to drive into, and I picked up my order. So part of that was a bookshelf for Ness's bedroom, but part of it is something that I will show you later on. But as I was saying, journey went fine. Got back home, got out, went to the cupboard to make a cup of tea, got a cup out of the cupboard, dropped the cup, it smashed and actually cut me under the nose there. It's sort of a piece flew up and cut me under the nose. So within about 45 seconds of walking in the house and trying to make a cup of tea after a fairly uneventful journey, I had a cut bleeding across my nose, which was interesting. So the comments then. Most of the comments that I have surrounded this chart, which was the RFD sledding, and also another chart which was Mary Fry, which I will put a picture of up here. And now I'm saying Mary Fry. It's definitely Fry. I think she's Mary. Albus, you are kidding me. Did you hear that? This dog's gonna go. Sorry about that. They do say don't work with children and animals, and I can quite easily see why that's the case. But having to stop the video did give me a chance to just grab Mary Jane Fry. I was right, it was Mary Jane Fry. And I had loads of comments about what these little animals might be. So first things first, RFD sledding. So apologies for not knowing about RFD, what that meant, but I did have some really interesting comments telling me what RFD stood for. So they range from the Rural Farm District, the Rural Fire Department. The one that I really like the best is it's the rate of force development when you're towing a sled on peak force. So I really like that one. But the most popular ones were either rural free delivery or rural farm delivery. So it's basically, oh sorry, this can't get comfy today. So it's basically to do with the postal service and the fact that rural farms wouldn't necessarily have their post delivered. They would then use this service either to get the rural delivery or they would have to go and pick it up. I think they would use this service from what people have said. So apologies for not knowing about RFD. And back to these. So the animals that were suggested, they are mostly quite similar, but we had weasels, cats, ferrets, otters, rats, martins, stoats, a certain type of marsupial or mink. But the ones that are far more suggested more often were the weasels and the stoats. So just from a biologist's point of view, if you want to tell the difference between a weasel and a weasel is weaselly recognised and a stoat is stotally different. So that's how you tell. I've also had lots of people telling me about various different multiplication charts as well, which I will show you because I've got another one actually to show you a bit later on. So, whips. Whips. So if you remember last week I said that apart from 3 ones that I've already got penciled in, I'm not starting anything new for February, and I've kept to that. Apart from I've started 2 out of the 3 that I was going to start, and haven't started anything else, which for me is a bit of a miracle. So the first thing that I've started, and those of you who follow me on Instagram, you will maybe have seen this, is this one. It's Barbara Anna Designs Dreaming Girl. So this is a stitch along a SAL through Creative Poppy, so it's a download. You pay for the download and then they come out on the 1st and the 15th of every month, and I think this is either 4 or 5 parts. So I decided to change mine up slightly. I had this fabric that I wanted to use, and the colourful colours with that lovely auburn hair would not have shown up on my fabric, but I wanted to use that fabric, and I wanted to make her grey. So this is as far as I've got so far. That face is just incredible. If I just do that for a second, I can get a bit closer. So she has only got half an eyebrow on one side. I ran short of about 4 stitches, so I'll have to put another piece of grey in there. But the face is absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed stitching that, and it's only made up of about 4 colours, so the work that Barbara Anna's done there to get that shading on the face is incredible. And then her hair goes all the way down there with these various different motifs in it. So for the darker part of the hair I am using DMC 3799, and for the lighter grey I am using the Gentle Art, there we go, Aged Pewter. And my friend Jenny, who's got grey hair like me, offered to put her hair onto the DMC chart for me and give me a DMC number for it if I wanted. I was like, I could do that with my own. So yeah, I've gone for Aged Pewter. It's not a massively variegated, but it is slightly variegated, which I think just shows up just nicely on her. So I can't wait to, I can't wait to get that finished. It looks like there's going to be, from the blurred out bits, it looks like there's going to be some houses and things on there. There's definitely some yellow. So I think I'm going to have to wait and see what it actually looks like as to see what colours I go with. I don't think the yellow would look out of place on this fabric, but I want to wait and see what the pattern looks like before I go any further with it. So I worked on that one. I worked on this one as well, Winter ABCs by Little House Needleworks. This is on a piece of 28 count faience grey. and I think when I showed you last I was down to there, and then I just did a little bit more. I really wanted to get and finish that quilt, that winter quilt, because it is lovely. So I'm using a Silks For You white. This is a Silks For You red that came in a, I used to be part of their thread of the month club, or one of their threads of the month club. The green is a, either a Weeks Dye Works or a Gentle Art. So yeah, it's in the spirit of the colours, but not necessarily the exact called for ones. And then I worked, well, I had a new start. So the 4th of February, I wanted to start A Gentleman's Daughter by Plum Street Samplers, and I'll pop a picture up in the corner here. And I am starting it on a piece of 38 count, what's it called? Wayfarer's Cloak. Me and this top are going to fall out. 38 count Wayfarer's Cloak by Access Commodities Linens. That doesn't sound right. I'll put the proper name below. I don't know why it doesn't sound right. And so I've just got a small start there. Now for a 38 count, this linen is really different to the 38 counts I got. It's much denser. The holes are much harder to see on this. So I have been using my little operation goggles with the magnification on. To make that a bit easier. So these are some of the colours there. Sorry, you can see my other threads hanging up there, but these are some of the colours, and that's, oops, it's a giant piece of linen. Even though it's only a fat quarter, it's massive. It seems massive, and that's going to go on there. And the other thing that I've worked on, which again I've had a brilliant response for, is Mary Catherine Harris, and I'm really close to finishing her. So this is the one here, PDF chart by Erna Hiscock, and a lot of people said that they like the way that I say zebra. And so I was sat thinking, well, how else do you say zebra? And then of course I realised that obviously over the pond you say zebra. So yeah, this is my zebra. And just hold the pattern up behind. I'm really nearly finished. So I've got the rest of the name and the year to do there. There's a big tree there. Well, I say big, it's not massive. And then a little bit to finish up there, and then there is a second colour in the zebra and in the little stars as well, and that is a piece of 32 count Picture This Plus Wren. So I can't wait to finish that one. I've actually been having a look at some frames online. I might buy a frame, you know, a bespoke size frame for it, see how that goes. And that is everything that I've been working on this week. I haven't done quite as much stitching as I would like to have done, but then we all say that, don't we? I haven't watched quite as much FlossTube as I would like to have done, mainly because the Darts Masters has been on. So I've been busy watching the Darts Masters, and we had a Welsh winner, which was amazing. Johnny Clayton won. That, if you don't like watching darts, then that will mean nothing to you, but I absolutely adore watching darts. Very bizarre. Right, where are we going now? Let's go freebies, shall we? I've got 2 freebies for you actually, one of which is sat under my camera, so I'm going to have to just, didn't think that through, did I? There we go. So the first one that I've got, I'm sure lots and lots of you will have already seen. It's the freebie by Kathy from Hands On Design, and if I just do that, it's just a very simple pillow that says love you on it, and you could do that in so many different colours, so many different ways. It's beautiful. I like it on the pink. I think it would look really nice on red. I think it would look nice done in red. You could have so much fun with that. Whatever you've got, would be great. So I'll put the link for that one down below. And then the other one that I wanted to mention to you, I was going to mention this a couple of weeks ago. This is a year-long stitch-along, free, from the Victoria Sampler, and it's from the Victoria Sampler Facebook group, and I will put down below the name of the Facebook group as it is, as you would find it. And they have started this year-long stitch-along where you get monthly blocks. And the reason I didn't mention it before is because what was happening is each monthly block was being released in kind of 3 sections, and when you got to the end of the 3rd section, the block was then taken down. But the lady that runs it has decided to keep them up now, so whenever you join the group you can find the stitch along. So they've done January and they're on to February now. So you could either stitch this as one or you could stitch this as smalls. So this is the idea, and these are your 12 blocks. So there are some which are the bigger oblong ones and there are some which are the smaller square ones. I'm going to have to hold this one right back. This is January's one, as it is all completed. And this is where we are with February. So this is February, 2 out of the 3 February parts there. So you've got a beautiful border, you've got snow, ice skaters, some hearts in the sky there. So you don't get given any thread colours with these. It's totally up to you to choose and to stitch from stash. Obviously, being Victoria Sampler, it's got some specialty stitches in, but you can see on the bottom of each of the pages it gives you how to do those specialty stitches. So if that's something you were thinking about working on this year, is maybe putting in some more specialty stitches and some more learning some more stitches, that would be a really good way of doing it. So you have to be a member of the Victoria Sampler Facebook group, the one that I put down. It's called something like Victoria Sampler Chat, but I will put the proper name of it below and see if I can link it as well, so that you can go and get those charts, because they are beautiful. I haven't stitched one yet, and I'm not sure, I haven't decided whether I'm going to go for one piece or for individual ornaments, or maybe even all in a line. That could work, maybe even all in a line. We shall see. It may be something that just sits in my stash for a while. I always get an itchy nose every time I start filming. I don't know why. Okie dokie. So, couple more things. Multiplication charts, which then led me down a bit of a rabbit hole. I've had lots of people give me places where I can get other multiplication charts, or other designers that do multiplication charts. Moira Blackburn's got one, Carriage House Samplings have got 2, Brenda Keys has got one on her website, but she's also got one in a book. And a lovely lady called Jean Cairns, sorry, this is me trying to reach stuff off the ironing board now. A lovely lady called Jean Cairns gave me the heads up about this book, which I managed to pick up really, really reasonably. Even with postage, I think it was less than about £7. And she said there's a multiplication sampler in that book. And I did a bit of research on the internet and managed to find some of the pictures of other stuff that was in the book, because I didn't want to buy it just for one thing. But there are some really, really lovely charts in here. If I find the multiplication sampler first of all, now this is where, if I'd have been prepared, I could have found it beforehand, because that would have been a really good idea. There it is. That's the chart. So where is she pictured? There she is. She's part of the schoolroom samplers. It's called Sarah Jennings. So there. So it's just a very, very simple chart, multiplication chart with a name across the bottom, which is lovely. Some of the other ones that have been suggested are slightly more complicated. The Moira Blackburn has got one which has got a really intricate border. The Scarlet Letter's got one actually which is designed to be stitched over 1 on 35 count, which I don't know, I think that might be a step too far at the moment. But the other thing that I was doing as I was looking back through this book, and there are some absolutely beautiful stitches in here. They are all a bit sort of 90s colours, I would suggest, which is probably when the book was released. Does it say? 1998. Yep, so that makes sense for it to be 90s colours. But I've got a bit more confidence now about changing colours. So it kind of made me have a look back through this book with some fresh eyes. And actually I've got this one too. Big hand coming in. I've got this one too, which I've had for a long time. And I hadn't quite dismissed it, but I hadn't looked back through it. And there are some really nice things in there. Again, you can tell by the book, they're kind of similar 90s colours. But if you take a look at the charts themselves, they're just amazing. There's some real amazing ones in there. So, and now with all of our hand-dyed fabrics and hand-dyed flosses and things like that, I think there's some really excellent ones. I absolutely love that band sampler there. Now the colours on that one, I actually quite like. But I then started stitching on the Plum Street Samplers one, the Gentleman's Daughter, and that was the colour palette. Whoops, let's try and show you properly. That was the colour palette that I had for those. Now there's a cream and a greyish to go in there as well, but I really like that sampler in that palette. I think that would look really nice. So there was that one that caught my eye. The other one from this book that caught my eye has got the most amazing border, and again I really like that one actually, with the birds in it, and again that would be prime for a little bit of colour conversion, brightening up with some more modern colours. But this one I really liked with the border, and I really like that as it is, especially stitched on sort of that darker colour linen. So definitely for that one. And there were several others that I liked too. Some really nice little cute small ones, smaller samplers. I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted when it comes to Brenda Keys, but there are some lovely, that one I liked as well, Polly Kirkwood. Now the photo there is a little bit blurry, but again I think I would change the colours on that one, maybe take out some of the oranges and put in some more reds. So both of those books actually have got some really lovely things in them. There's something in this one. Oh, that was it. That design there. But again, put into, even maybe into sort of Christmassy colours, reds and greens. I liked. So those were the two. That was the one I bought recently because of the multiplication sampler. And then that one I already had. Now, last night I didn't fancy stitching. I put a few stitches in, but I just didn't fancy stitching. So it got to sort of 10 o'clock and I was like, shall I go to bed? I was like, no, I don't fancy doing that either. So I decided to dye some fabric, like you do at 10 o'clock at night. Because I had ordered some more of these. Now, I've shown you this set before, the Dyna Flow. Now these are fabric paints, so they do work slightly differently to a fabric dye, but they are so simple. You literally just, I was working in a bowl last night, but you can literally just put your damp fabric in a plastic bag, squeeze some of these on, squidge it around, have a look at it, do you like it, let it dry, and then as soon as you iron it, that's when it becomes colour fast. I not necessarily would ever wash these with stitching on, but it's set by ironing. It then says the product is washable and dry cleanable. So these are meant for clothes and things like that. I can't say I would ever wash something on a hand-dyed fabric, probably because it's got hand-dyed floss in it as well, but you can. So I've had those for a long time. But I wanted some more kind of natural, earthy type colours. So from Empress Mills, I ordered some of these little bottles. Now these little bottles run at about just over £4 each, and there's loads in there, you hardly use any. So I got ecru, I got burnt umber, I got ochre, I got brown, I love this one, I got brass, and I got pewter. And I thought, well, I'll have a little play. I'll have a little play with the dyes. And the other thing that I wanted to have a play with was baking fabric, because I've never really done much baking fabric. And recently I have started putting some of my dyed fabric in the oven on a very, very low heat, really just to actually dry it out, because I normally let it dry in the garage and it's just too wet at the moment. It's just too wet in the air, it's just too cold for it to actually dry. So what I did was I thought, well, I'll try and see how baking goes and see if that adds, sorry, it's just all up here, see if that adds something to it. So I've used a mixture of even weave and linen. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're 36 counts. I think so. Should have checked that really beforehand. But I had fun. I had real good fun. Now, I haven't brought down my board, so I'm going to have to see if I can put some white paper behind. So I'll show you the ones that I did on the even weave first. So the first ones I did, let's hope these are going to show up well, is that one. So that's using a bit of grey and a bit of ecru, just literally wetting my fabric in a bowl, squeezing some of the colour onto it, squidging it with my hands, holding it up, do I like it? The more you squidge it with your hands, the more the colours kind of homogenise. So if you take it out and you think, oh, I've got a really big splotch over there, I don't like that, just give it a couple more squidges and it will, it'll tone it down a little bit so you can see. I know I keep saying this, but I'm really hoping to get a video done on this, because not next week, but the week after is half term, so I'm really hoping to get. So, and then I baked it, which gives you some more of this mottling. So there's, as with all fabrics, there's two sides. So if you don't like the first one, you can have a look at the second one. So there was that one. Let's not do that every time. This one I did with grey, and I put a little bit of, this set has got a violet in it as well. So I did a grey and a violet and then baked it. So there's that side and then that side. Obviously when you're baking it, one side will pick up more of the kind of baked mottling than the other side will. And I'll definitely show you that in a minute. Where does it stop being baked and start becoming burned? This one is fantastic. This is a combination of the brass and grey, and I really like this one. I just see something Halloweeny on here. fab. So yeah, that one's a combination of brass and grey. And this one is the burnt umber and maybe the ochre, I think. So that gave me quite a pinky tone. So that's how it looks on this even weave. My linen ones, I'm going to show you this one. This is actually my favourite. This is the brass and the grey again. And that's how it's come out on one side. But that's not what I saw. What I saw first of all was that. And I was like, oh God, I've burned that. That's burned. But actually, the thing with when you're dyeing fabric, never make a decision about fabric until it's dry and you've ironed it, because they look totally different. When that first came out of the oven, I thought, there's only one place that's going. And then once it was dry and ironed, depending on what stitching you've got, sorry about that, you could definitely stitch on that side. But as I said, you get 2 chances. And that is what it looks like on the other side. And I really like that. This one started off as a bit of a failure. I did grey and the brown. Now the brown on this one throws up quite a lot of red, and it didn't seem to blend particularly well. So I put it in the oven, didn't really like it. So I put it back in again and put some more grey in it, gave it another splodge around, and then I came out with this, which I really do like. So it's quite a dark brown with, and that's the other side. So that's the side that's picked up more of the baking, if you like. Sorry, the light's playing around a bit today. And then that's the side that's got less of a baking. And then I did 2 others. The first one is literally just the grey, because I just wanted to see what kind of grey it gave me. And this is the grey, that's the baked side. And I didn't put very much on this, so it's not particularly dark. And this is the unbaked side. And then I used a combination of the grey and the ecru. And that is the baked side. And that is the unbaked side. So the reason that I love these is they are so quick. You can see in the middle of the process kind of what sort of the fabric is looking like, so you can take it out of the dye bowl, have a look at it, have a look at the colour dispersion, see where everything is, and if you want to add more to it you can, and squidge it and try again. And I think that set was about £15 for all of those different colours, so if you wanted to have a go, that's a really good set to try with. And then these will probably do about the same as the bottle of Rit dye, but they are a little bit cheaper. So in the UK, a Rit dye bottle is about £7, I think. These are about £4.20, something like that. So they're a little bit cheaper. That one's open, and you can mix them, which is helpful. That one is really open. 2 minutes. Doing well today, aren't we? We stopped the video for hands covered in fabric paint and the dog doing a trouser shout. Doesn't get any better than that. I had an email the other day from mybobbin.com actually, and they offered me, and I know they've done this with quite a lot of FlossTubers as well, they offered me some free products if I would talk about my experiences with them on FlossTube and how I'd got on. So what I decided to order were some kits, because they do obviously kits, they do downloads, they do other things as well, different types of needlecraft, latch hooking, all sorts of things, but obviously I was interested in the cross stitch. So I decided to order 3 kits, and I'll put the pictures of the kits that I've ordered up in the blank space up there. Now the reason that I decided to order kits, they do PDFs, but you can order PDFs from anywhere. It wouldn't matter where they were in the world. And so for those of you who don't know, mybobbin.com is based out of Russia. And PDFs, it shouldn't really matter where anybody is. They could be in Outer Mongolia. They could be on Mars. I don't know why everyone else says Outer Mongolia actually. I've been to Outer Mongolia. It's lovely. Really, really nice. I spent a month there. But it doesn't matter. The PDF side of the situation, they should be just easy to get hold of. You just press order, it gets delivered to you. But the kit situation, I thought, well, that will really test them to see what sort of a company they are, how easy the kits are to have delivered. So I ordered them on Friday the 5th. She said that they're going to post them out on Monday. We shall see what happens to them, how long they take to get to me. I'm really, really interested to try them. A couple of the kits are by Pana, I know that. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really interested to see how long they take and how long where they go in the world and how long they get to me. So I will share that experience with you. But I did actually purchase a couple of downloads from them because I was looking through and I knew I wanted to order kits, but I saw these as downloads. So I'll show you the downloads that I purchased from them. And these are they. This one. And I will put the link to the chart down below because obviously I say obviously, I don't know if you know about my bobbin. My bobbin covers lots and lots of different designers. Some of them are available elsewhere, PDFs on Etsy. Some of them aren't. I think some of them are specific to my bobbin. But yeah, this is the first design that I downloaded. And the second one, I might have to put a picture up of this one because the actual picture is really, really small. But it's, oh no, it's not too bad. It's of a lovely magpie. Now I said last week I really, really like magpies. And this chart is very, very impressive actually. It comes with a chart which is in, I'll just show you a little bit, colour, with the back stitch on the top in colour. It shows a chart in colour without the back stitch on the top. I don't think you'd be able to stitch from that. Either way, it's only a tiny part of the chart. It's a black and white chart with the stitching, the back stitching on top, and then a black and white chart without the back stitching on. So however you like to work, there is a version of that chart there. I can't wait to do that on a nice piece of hand-dyed linen. I think I probably would stick with a fairly neutral background just because the bird is so beautifully done. So I ordered those two and they were immediate downloads. They were instantly there for me to print out. I will let you know as soon as the kits arrive and we'll have a look at the kits and go through, see what they're like. My other haul, I do still have haul. I watched Joyfield Stitcher this morning and she went, hallelujah, but she can sing and I can't. So, haul. Let's do charts first. Some sad news, I guess, for us in the UK. Sue from Peakside Needleworks put up a post about Brenda Gervais and With Thy Needle and Thread no longer shipping internationally. So it just means I think it's going to be harder for us to get hold of them in the UK. Doesn't necessarily mean that we won't be able to get hold of them, but the route by which they come might be slightly more difficult. So I thought it prudent to pop onto Peakside Needleworks and just buy up the ones that I wanted, just in case they became more difficult. So I grabbed 3 tulips. I grabbed Witch's Night Out, which may well go on to one of those hand-dyed pieces, one of the big greys I think. I grabbed Hallows Eve, love that border. And I grabbed be happy and humble. Be happy, humble and kind. So I'll grab those ones. I had a little bit of joy on eBay as well from a lovely seller called Catherine. And she was doing, she's got lots and lots of charts to sell, and she quite often puts them together in groups. So this was one of her groups that she picked out. So Spooky Countdown from The Primitive Hare, which I know lots of people have seen and lots of people have done. Lone Elm Lane, Halloween Resurrection. And this one, I love this one. This is the Bella D Halloween Sampler by Falling Star Primitives. And it says there, Bella D did this and it scared her out of her wits. I like that, I really like that. Only got a few colours, so it's going to be really, really simple to do. And then she'd had another pack of charts, a twin pack of charts that hadn't sold. One was Teresa Kogut Fox and one was Quaker Fox by the Workbasket. Now, as much as I loved the Teresa Kogut Fox, it was a big chart and I knew I just probably wouldn't stitch it. So I'd messaged her and I said, if the charts don't sell, I'd be interested in the Workbasket one by itself. And because I had got the other pack of her charts, she said, I'll just put it in for you. I'll just put it in for free. So I also got Quaker Fox by the Workbasket, and I really like him. He's got such a funny face. Such a funny face. And then lastly, I got another PDF download and I was so delighted to see this one. You might remember SarcyGurl on Instagram gave everybody for free her Pandemic 2020 sampler. Now if you haven't seen that, I'll put a picture of it up here. But she's also now started her own Etsy shop with some of her other designs. And this is the first one that she's released. And it's called Little Sarcy Witch. And it's got this beautiful border of various different leaves. And then the witch and all her pumpkins and her cauldron and this tree going up the side here. Now I could not download that fast enough for two reasons. Firstly, because it is gorgeous. And secondly, she gave everyone that massive chart for free. You know, a little bit of karma, a little bit of payback. So I love it. I absolutely love it. I loved the Pandemic sampler. I love the colours in it. This is very, very similar. So I'll link her Etsy shop below so you can go over and download a copy of that. And then my final two bits of haul. The first bit was another eBay purchase, and it was two shaker boxes, two painted shaker boxes. So the first one is a yellow. Beautiful, I love shaker boxes. And then the second one is that beautiful bright blue. And I've actually bought, he had a set of 3 as well. And when these arrived, I went back and bought the 3. They are, they're not brand new. He doesn't make them, the guy that I bought them from. He just had them for sale. So the blue and the yellow. The blue one is in perfect condition. The yellow one's got a few little nibbles out of the paint. But I've painted stuff before and actually taken nibbles out of the paint, so I'm not worried about that in the slightest. But I can't wait. I might, the set of 3 I'll probably keep as they are and just have them stacked for display. But these 2 I might actually put something on the tops of them. I'm not sure. We shall see. And then my last thing, coming right back to where we were with Ikea. And they're like, what's she bought from Ikea? Well, what do we all want when we're looking for stitchy things? A box with a recessed lid. So Ikea are selling these really well made, really sturdy boxes. I think it's about 25 centimetres, just short of 25 centimetres across the top there. So it is quite big for a stitched piece, but you can definitely find something to go in the top there. And that was £13. So if you were trying to buy a shaker box that size, you certainly wouldn't get it for £13. Now I know it hasn't got the nice strap work on the outside, but I was really, really pleased with that. I might paint it, depends what I find to put in the top, but have a look on Ikea. I didn't see any other sizes, I didn't see any other shapes, I don't think there were any. As soon as I found this one I did have a good search, but I think it was just that one. Right, that was a bit of a whistle-stop tour, I feel. I've talked really quickly. They're out on a bike ride at the moment, so I feel I've talked quite quickly to get through everything. And yeah, only had to stop a couple of times for a couple of things. Anyway, I will be back next week. You never know, I might have some Russian kits. I think they're going to take a little bit longer than that, but you never know. And I will see you then. I want everyone to have the happiest week, the nicest week, and I'll see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.